This Jocks 94.5 podcast is brought to you by Millennium Satellite and Video. Log on to msbnow.com. TV excellence everywhere. That's Millennium. McElroy and Cubelic in the morning starts now.
7:30, Wednesday, August 27th, right here on Jocks. Let's go to the Higginbotham hotline. No game day men's health read or automobile reads today for Coach Dilfer. We're going to spare him that. But we are going to focus in on week one. Coach, what are you most confident in based on what you got out of camp with your football team as you guys are set to take the field tomorrow night?
I think we'll play with great effort. I'm not sure I know anything else, but we will play with great effort. This group is wired different. Their buy-in has been different. They are relentless with their effort. Our GPS times this week were the best they've ever been in the history of the program, according to Lyle. Max outputs, our lifts, they're tired. It's the end of camp. We had 25 PRs our last week at camp. Lyle's never seen a single PR in his history of strength and conditioning. What I mean by that is, sorry, for the people who don't understand, they hit their personal records in lifting metrics in the end of camp, which tells me they have the ability to keep pushing. It means we did camp right from a recovery standpoint. So I think this group will really play hard.
Coach, let me ask one more quickly, Greg. I wanted to follow up on that because we talk about these teams, Coach, and we openly say we don't know what we're going to get. We don't know how it's going to look. Do you think a lot of these coaches, I don't really think intentionally, but how many guys do you really think know what they're going to get week one with their football teams right now? I mean, you're being very honest with it, saying I feel great about this one aspect of it, but we got to get out there. Is that pretty much the norm in your opinion?
Yeah, I think if they're telling you they know, either they've been doing this for 40 years and they just know because they're older and if Coach Saban said something when he was coaching, he probably meant it. But I think everybody else, they're saying it to sound cool in the media or to push a narrative or to send a message to their team. Honestly, I don't think any of us know. The ones I'm talking to don't know. We have a really tight coaching community, and we all talk because we're, talking about schedules and how do you do this and how do you do that, blah, 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 blah. And some of us are just friends away from football. And I think the ones I've talked to were all like, well, I think we have this. I think we have that. I think this guy's a good player. I think this scheme is right, but we won't know until the live bullets. And, one of the facts of football, and you two know this because you've played with really good players, you've been around a long time, is there are players that rise up on game day and there are players that shrink. And you don't know until you have game day experience with them.
When you look at week one in particular, though, do you feel do you feel like the need to simplify, not because of your opponent, but more to just let the guys play fast and maybe not put too much on their plate? I know in the past you've talked about, man, we have so much on our plate offensively that maybe it can be a little bit intoxicating as a play caller because you want to have all those options. But at the same time, you want your players to just feel super comfortable with what you're doing, especially early in the season. So do you feel the need in week one to kind of play a little more vanilla to see what guys can do in live action?
Absolutely. I think it's one of the mistakes I've made the first 2 years is, you're so excited about all the things you've been able to do in the offseason and all the cool new wrinkles and blah, 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 that you forget that these are, they're dealing with emotions that we learned over time as players to regulate. And sometimes they can't regulate them early in the year. And the more you put on them from an XO standpoint, compounds the mistakes. So it's probably the smallest call sheet we've had, both sides of the ball in my time here. It's a smaller call sheet offensively than I had sometimes in high school for that exact reason. We want to play fast. We've focused in on the things we've done best in camp. We don't have a lot of beaters. It's not stuff to go attack things that Alabama State does that may have flaws. And I don't care if they're listening. We want to go out there and play hard, play fast, be simple, be decisive, and play our best ball.
Trent Dilfer joining us on the Higginbotham Hotline. He's with us weekly, previewing his team, giving us his thoughts on last week's games. He'll be with us at this time every week heading into the season. We love talking football with him. You brought up something that Greg and I discussed yesterday, and that is starting fast. We hear so many coaches and even some players talk about we got to start fast. We got to get out there and start fast. Got to get off to a fast start. What do you do from a coaching perspective to help ensure that? I think we know some of the advantages of it, and we know some of the whys. But what can you do with your guys to help ensure that that actually takes place?
Well, what is it? So this used to drive me nuts as a player. We got to start fast. We got to play at the lead. Our defense plays better with the lead. And I'm like, well, what if we don't? What if we get a crappy holding call on 2nd and 4? Now we're 2nd and 14. We're behind the sticks and we have to punt. Did we just lose the game? I hate that mentality. I think starting fast is starting decisively, starting clear-minded. The teams I was on that played great, it wasn't about we have to go score a touchdown here or we have to get a 3 and out. It's like we have to go see it, feel it, let it rip, play decisively, make adjustments, handle the emotions of the first part of the early in the game because emotions is always high. And I've talked to a lot of great coaches about this one, and they agree. It's not a score, it's not a production, it's a mentality. And because you're playing a long game, and you can't all of a sudden say one thing. It's like goal setting, right? When people set these long-term goals, and then they're not getting to them, and they feel like failures, and they quit. New Year's, everybody wants to lose 15 pounds. What if you're not? What if you don't lose the first 2 pounds? Are you going to quit? No, there's a mentality, there's an approach that's going to help you reach your long-term goal. And that's something we've talked a lot about, is being process-oriented instead of results-oriented. Let the results take care of itself if our process is great, and we'll respond better to the ebbs and flows of games if we take that approach.
How would you assess the level of complexity that we now see in college football on trying to figure out what the opponent's personnel looks like? I was talking to Cole this morning, and even your own personnel, I guess I might add. I was talking to Cole this morning. I'm sitting there watching Miami. I'm doing the Miami-Notre Dame game on Sunday, Coach, and I'm sitting there, and not single guy on Miami's 2 deep at wide receiver caught more than 6 passes last year on Miami's roster. And I'm sitting there trying to watch these guys. I'm like, I have no idea what they're going to do, which gives me anxiety as an analyst in the booth. I can't imagine what it's like from a coach's perspective where your job is to go out and win the game. How much more challenging is it today to identify what they might do to you based on personnel than it was in the past?
We've had a lot of conversations about this, and I finally just laid down the hammer and said we're not going to be consumed with the what-ifs and chasing ghosts. Us versus us. Us versus us. Let's do our things better. If they come out and do something we've never seen them do and they have some player that we didn't know about, well, if we're locked in, if we have answers within our systems, we adjust. But we're not going to go out there and try to guess what they're going to do. It'll torture you. I mean, I started going down the rabbit hole of watching all the players off PFF or junior college film or their high school film because they've been at Alabama State for 2 years but haven't played. And all of a sudden, I mean, I did this for about 3-4 hours. I'm realizing, well, that's 3-4 hours I took away from getting us better. And I just can't do that. I don't think we can do that. Other people may have a different philosophy, but we're solely focused on us.
And I love that. And I think that's a big portion of kind of where it has to be right now, specifically with some of those unknowns, uncertainties, and how you're going to play this thing out. What is it going to take for you guys to get this win in this opener? I heard your press conference 2 days ago. Very respectful towards your opponent you're going to see, but what has to take place from your group on each side of the ball to get that good start you mentioned, and then to find out a way to pull that W out tomorrow night?
Well, one of the big core values we've had in this group, and something we've talked relentlessly about, is not letting our feelings dictate our actions. So responding instead of reacting. We've had a program for 2 years that's reacted, overly emotional, myself included, and that just has to end. So we put a stake in the ground and said our response mechanism is going to determine our success. So we have to respond to bad calls. We have to respond to them making plays. We have to respond to us doing some knucklehead thing. Like, we can't let one play, good or bad, put us on an emotional roller coaster. So I would look for, hopefully, what I'm looking for is how we play the game, the temperament for which we play it in. Something great happens, great. We celebrate, move on. Something bad happens, okay, slap your thigh, move on. If we can do that again and again and again and again and again, we feel like we can be a pretty solid football team.
Coach, we appreciate the time. Fun conversation. It's going to be every week with you. We love talking football, and good luck tomorrow night.
Thanks, guys. Have a great weekend.
Trent Dilfer, UAB head football coach, joining us on the Higginbotham Hotline. If you're in town, get out to Protective tomorrow night. Go watch that UAB game. He joked in his press conference, they're going to have as many fans as we are. Don't let that happen. I know it's another in-state team, but we don't want that to happen here in UAB's home stadium. So get out there, watch some good football, watch it live. Why not? If the weather feels anything like it's going to today, it's going to be an incredible night to be out there and watch a little bit of football. So a lot more to get to over the course of the show today. Chris Nee's going to tell us about Florida State, what's been happening with their camp at 8:20. Larry Williamson at 9 on Clemson and their camp as they head into this matchup with LSU, which I want to spend a little bit of time on discussing here soon. But Jocks 94.5 and Total Sports Travel are giving you the chance to see Auburn take on Oklahoma live in Norman. One lucky winner will score a trip for 2. That's round-trip airfare, 2-night stay at the National Hotel in Oklahoma City, 2 tickets to watch the Tigers and Sooners, and transportation to and from the stadium. Text the keyword Tigers to 205-834-9450 to enter now. Tigers to 205-834-9450 to enter today. Don't miss your shot at the ultimate game day experience, courtesy Total Sports Travel and your home for college football, Jocks 94.5. Contest rules at jocksfm.com. When we come back, let's start to get into a few of those bigger games this weekend next on Jocks.
Go inside Jocks 94.5 on Jocks TV. Morning Jocks, Mac and Cube, 3-man front video simulcasts are presented by Bill Smith Buick GMC and Game Day Men's Health. Watch on the Jocks mobile app and YouTube by searching Jocks 94.5 TV.